It was an ordinary day in New York City when suddenly a bank robbery was being committed right before everyone's eyes. People were screaming, running around like headless chickens, trying to get away from the danger they could see. A streak of red and blue shot down from above and landed right in front of the armed robbers. The first one fired his weapon at the newcomer, but he was too fast for him. He dodged it effortlessly, then appeared behind him and delivered a powerful kick, sending the gun flying out of his hands. Then he did the same thing to the second guy, and the third one was unable to shoot him either. This guy was way too quick. However, he was well aware that it wouldn't last long. There were always more villains looking to take over Central City. But today was different. Today, Barry decided to do something he'd never done before. He logged onto social media and posted a photo of his amazing red cape. Did people not appreciate what he did? Was he just some kind of joke to them? Apparently, the police had caught 2 of the suspects, but the mastermind behind it all was still on the loose. His name was Leonard Snart, aka Captain Cold. Suddenly, Barry remembered something. He'd actually seen Captain Cold a few weeks ago. He quickly picked up his phone and dialed the number the news anchor had given. Then he told them everything. It was time to do what he did best, to be the Flash. This time, though, things would be different. He wasn't just fighting a random robber. He was trying to make up for lost time. The city needed him. At first, the police officer on the other end thought it was a prank call. "Don't get cocky, kid. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve." But then he remembered something. Time was his greatest ally. As long as he acted fast enough, he could move quicker than the villain could react. With that in mind, Barry dashed forward. He ran in circles around Captain Cold, confusing him completely. He pulled out a small remote control and pressed a button. Suddenly, the room was filled with freezing cold air. Barry's heart skipped a beat. This guy was actually pretty good. For a moment, all the hate disappeared. All that mattered was that people appreciated what he did. He couldn't just kill someone without knowing for sure that they deserved it. So instead, Barry tied Captain Cold up and handed him over to the police. But once Barry explained that he was the guy who'd saved the bank a few days prior, they took him seriously. Back then, the villain had tried to mug him, but Barry, being the fastest man alive, had easily defeated him. Then he tied Captain Cold's hands behind his back. "Give up, will you?" Barry asked. "You're outnumbered. I suggest you don't make things worse for yourself." Captain Cold glared at him. "You may be fast, kid, but I'm not done yet." He lunged at Barry, but the superhero was too quick for him. He didn't want to attract any more unwanted attention. But every once in a while, he still shared a picture of himself on social media, just to remind people that even if they didn't always see him, he was always there protecting them. And that's the story of the Flash, the fastest man alive. He'd thrown the criminal into jail without anyone even realizing what had happened. They were close. He had to hurry up. Using his super speed, he raced through the streets. He was exhausted after the fight, but he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about all the negative comments he'd received. Just when he was about to give in to despair, his phone lit up. It was a notification from social media. Someone had posted a video. Houses and cars whizzed past him. He could feel the wind rushing through his hair. Being the Flash was amazing. He loved every second of it. If Barry had been listening to his phone, he would have known this already. Barry slowed down and peeked inside. The criminal hadn't noticed him yet. He was talking on the phone, probably to his accomplices. Barry waited until he was done and then he struck. He burst through the door, startling the man, but he wasn't. He'd left it on silent because of all the spam messages. All those questions kept him up at night. He didn't know how to stop the haters. No matter how fast he ran, he couldn't outrun them. He wanted to know what people thought about it. Maybe he could improve its design, or maybe buy himself a new one. In the blink of an eye, he disarmed them all and threw them to the ground, tying their hands with their own belts. What he wasn't prepared for was the massive amount of attention that post would get. One user wrote, "I saw this guy in action. He's the fastest man alive." After all, it made him feel important. But then he started getting hate mail. There were threats, insults, nasty comments that made him feel bad about himself. As time went on, things got worse and worse. Barry's life turned into a nightmare. Every time he posted a picture, there were more negative comments than positive ones. Some people even called him a fraud, saying he was just a publicity seeker. Another said, "That's my husband, he's so hot." And yet another commented, "Who cares if he's not the fastest man alive? I'm sure he can outrun Usain Bolt." All of these messages made Barry laugh. He loved seeing how excited people got over his pictures. It gave him a sense of purpose. He wasn't just a superhero, he was also a public figure. Now, soon enough, hundreds of thousands of people were staring at Barry's picture. The amount of notifications he received made his phone almost explode. People wanted to know who he was. Hadn't he been in the news recently? Of course he had. But Barry had used his super speed to change his appearance. So most people didn't recognize him. Plus, he'd never really been in the spotlight before. 3 men had stormed into the place, guns raised high. People rushed towards the fallen robbers, eager to have a closer look. Some even pulled out their phones, recording the whole thing. But the superhero didn't stick around. In a flash, he was gone. The only evidence that he'd ever been there was the red cape that lay on the floor where he'd stood just a moment before. They were masked and armored. You couldn't see their faces, but you could tell by their body language that these guys meant business. The police were still 10 minutes away, but help came faster than anyone expected. It came from the sky. Everyone applauded, cheering for the mysterious blue and red blur. When the police arrived, they found the 3 men who'd tried to rob the bank completely helpless. They couldn't believe what had happened. How could they have lost against a mysterious man in a costume? That made no sense. Even after the news got out about the strange incident, nobody knew who this guy was or where he came from. Some said it was a miracle. Others said it was a dream come true. Meanwhile, the superhero was taking a break after his heroic deed. His name was Barry Allen. He wasn't your average person, though. He was the Flash, the fastest man alive. And although he looked like a normal human being, he wasn't one. Barry had a particular gift. When a chemical substance had splashed onto him in the lab where he worked, he'd gained extraordinary powers. Not only could he run at superhuman speed, but he could also think faster than anyone else. His mind processed everything in fractions of a second. For now, Barry was enjoying his moment of peace. He was expecting a few likes, maybe some comments about how cool the cape was. Some of the comments were funny, others were informative. At first, Barry had been happy about this new development. Barry felt miserable. Was all that hard work he put into being a hero for nothing? One evening, Barry was watching the news. The TV presenter was talking about a recent bank robbery. The news anchor continued, Snart is considered extremely dangerous. Anyone with information should contact the police immediately. Of course, Barry didn't want to keep that information to himself. After hanging up, Barry put on his iconic red and blue suit. As soon as Barry stepped outside, he heard the familiar sound of police sirens. Finally, he spotted Captain Cold hiding in an abandoned warehouse. "You're not as fast as me," Barry said with a smirk. Captain Cold rolled his eyes. If Captain Cold managed to surround the entire room with ice, Barry wouldn't be able to outrun him. The criminal tried to press another button on his remote control, but it was too late. Barry was already upon him. He grabbed the remote and threw it away. Barry thought about ending it right there and then. After all, this guy was a dangerous criminal, but he knew better. Later that day, Barry was back at home. Barry clicked on it and watched in amazement. It was footage of the bank robbery. Everyone was praising him, calling him a hero. From that day on, Barry was careful about what he posted online.